Hi, everybody. I'm Rivers McCown. I'm joined today by Bill Bodix. Bill, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
This is a Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise weekly race. Our flags today include no free lunch, and as you can see on the screen, Edward is going to start everybody off, which will be amazingly fun. And by fun, I mean terrible.
Yes, terrible and fun are synonymous, especially when Edward is involved.
Yeah, and Free Enterprise as well.
Yeah.
pretty much that's how it goes.
If
So,
it's not a speed run, you can pretty much just love Edward.
So I am one of the higher devs of this game. I'll be trying to give you guys as much enlightened commentary as I can. Bill, what's your kind of history of all this stuff? Where did you come from with it?
That's a great question. Well, obviously, I started playing Final Fantasy IV when I was a child, back when it came out. So I'm an older gentleman, but I didn't start getting interested in the speed run until roughly a year ago, or City of Mayhem, around that time, the first one. Saw all these people speed running it and running the Paladin percent. That got me super interested. And it looks like we're actually on our way here. So we're going to see the second character, and it is Edge. So we've got Team Edward and Edge. And
they know immediately where the Mist Dragon is if they have to go kill it. So that is, as much as anything with Edward can be a good start, this is a good start.
The troll level has been taken down just one notch.
So the Earth Crystal is their first item. Probably not something you'll see everybody rush right away, but it does at least enter into the equation now that you can get two characters there if you complete it.
Yeah, absolutely. And with an early Edge, you've got a pretty powerful character that makes Earth Crystal a pretty early, look. So and when you're looking at a no free lunch seed, you want a lot of options to build your team early. So that's actually a pretty nice first item.
So everybody's starting off and going right into Baron. How do you usually play this kind of start, Bill?
I only had a couple of chances to play this week's flags, but I did oftentimes go to Baron because there's a lot of free chests. You get to see one character right away, and obviously check the item shop. With the no free lunch flag, and we'll explain the flags maybe here in a little bit if you're unfamiliar with the Free Enterprise Randomizer. With the no free lunch flag, building your party is actually much more important because you have limited options on the characters you run into. So seeing that first character in Baron gives you kind of like a first early goal, I guess.
I actually prefer to kind of push the tempo here. And you see Naidu actually going right for it. Interesting. So he's going to bring out Kenatsu right away.
I think that's a pretty bold play, but with a strong Edge, that it's certainly possible.
Edge very, very clearly took care of that one right away.
Yeah, that first slot where those guards are.
Ooh, this is not what you want to see, though, DK Cecil.
Not at all.
Going to be a little bit close here. So in this set of flags, DK Cecil actually can be a murder machine. Yeah. And as you can see, this is kind of just like a DPS challenge at this point, and neither of our Naidu is not prepared to handle it, even with Edge. And Silver's about to discover the same thing here.
I would say he probably got him maybe half dead. I think that slot has about 4K hit points or so. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So it probably won't take much to beat that spot, but it's nice to kind of know your power level at that point. And DKC is obviously not a good boss to see there.
Yeah.
Would have been much better in that first slot.
That's an unfortunate one. I prefer to start these seeds off with, especially when I have someone like Edge, playing right to the Mount Hobbs for the third character. But,
absolutely. That's an early check for me as well with the no free lunch, just knowing what characters are where and if they're viable, and to fill that party out if I need to.
Yeah, it really depends also on what characters you have, because if you have like a Palom Edward, a Porum Edward, something like that, where you might just need to pick up chests to find anything to do damage early. You'll have to play a little bit slower.
And it looks like we got both Natara and Tristal going for Damcian, which is a good play with the T4 flag. A lot of these chests are going to contain some pretty powerful items, so searching your treasures early is a good strategy for these sets of flags. So it's definitely a good thing to go into Damcian early.
Natara playing has in Toria, and actually has found a big edge weapon, the Murazame, so that will be a big help for her, especially early on. I wonder if she'll just continue on now that she has that. that sword, and now she's going in this treasure room. She's about to loot it all.
Oh, and a ninja sword.
Yeah, that is this is looking really promising for Natara right now. I don't know if she's going to risk it, but this is a good start.
Yeah, with having such a powerful character early, to have some really powerful weapons to go along with that, very, very helpful.
So yeah, Chad, if you see anything, pop out at you on the screen too, as far as items, because obviously we can't cover everything. You see, like, Silver has a crystal sword in his inventory. We didn't see it all, but if you see something like that, shout it out. I mean, we're tried, but we're only 2 people here.
That crystal sword's a pretty big pickup. Definitely makes Paladin Cecil very viable in mid and end game if you're struggling to find characters or even damage dealers.
I enjoyed that Natara had to throw the elven bow on Edward there. Just like, I guess he could do something. Edward, you tried, buddy. All right, let's see. I think it's Palom here on Mount Hobbs, the knight he was checking out now.
Yep.
And only a guard fight to get through, so this should be a pretty easy character pickup for everybody in the seed. And I expect that nobody will pass this up unless, they just get great characters out of Tower of Zod or something.
Yes. One thing to point out as well is that one of the flags for this weekly set is the X2 flag, which basically makes it so the experience that you receive from battles does not spread out, does not divide per character. You get the full amount for each character. So having Edward in your party isn't necessarily a bad thing. He can actually soak up, damage from people you don't want taking a hit.
Edward's always a bad thing.
I retract my previous statement.
So that was 19 picking up the Charm Rod there. That's a really nice stat booster for Palom. So even though he started out early getting owned by Dark Knight Cecil, this is not a bad little crew he's putting together.
Not at all.
And Silver is the first in the Antlion Cave, it looks like. So that's usually the easiest boss that you can fight in any set of flags, really. And with Edge, certainly it should be pretty trivial.
And it's a great early dungeon. There's plenty of treasures to hunt through. You get a key item and an easy boss kill in almost every instance.
Yeah, you saw Silver also pick up the Leviathan summon. These summons can also be in the chests, and use it as an item. And if you have Rydia in the party, she will learn the spell. So opening up the potential of early game Rydia, which
is pretty rare. From what I can tell.
And a defense sword in there. Wow. So a lot of good weapons early in the seed. Both players will want to prioritize Cecil and Kane at this point with Crystal Sword and Defense Sword.
Absolutely. Again, hunting those early treasures is really paying off due to that T4 flag kind of stacking those treasures. Yeah,
the T4 flag really can make any treasure chest can have anything in the entire game except the key items. So obviously that can be abused a little bit, and hopefully makes it a little bit easier for our runners.
And one thing we didn't get a chance to mention is what this game is. It is a ROM hack of the original Final Fantasy IV game. Basically what it does is it opens it up and turns it into an open world type venture where you get the airship the first thing and you can go anywhere. It's definitely an interesting take, and it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out the website.
All right, FF4 dash free enterprise, right? Something like that.
Yep, ff4-free-enterprise.com. And there is a link to the Discord at the top where you can get a plethora of helpful information.
So Edge actually outdamaged the water hag in the Antlion Cave before it was ready to die. So there that goes. And
fantastic.
Silver will find our second key item. Should be the hook. So he has opened up Underworld access right now, if he chooses to do that.
That is a very big pickup.
It's kind of a scary pickup too, actually, because depending on who shows up guarding the way to the Underworld through that hook, through the Tower of Babel, that can be a really scary fight.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what boss you can see in Rubicon's position, it can turn into a nightmare quickly, especially if you're not high enough level. It can turn into a 10-15 minute battle easily.
Oh, yeah. So we got Tristal doing Hobbs now. I think he already finished it and got Palom, right? Yeah. And Night Dew following in Silver's footsteps. Silver going up. I'm out Hobbs himself. Natara is checking item shops in Kaipo. Natara has definitely been the outlier of everybody early on. She's just kind of doing her thing right now.
Absolutely. And checking item shops, it should be known that you can find an item called the Pass that randomly shows up in any of the shops due to the flag that we are seeing here. And what that pass does is it allows you a straight direct path to Zeromus. You go to the secret basically bar in Toroya and you hand the pass over, takes you right there. Adds kind of a quicker way to get to the last boss.
Yeah, it opens up some quicker ways to finish the run for sure. And yeah, as pointed out in chat, the water hag, it's not any water hag, it's the story water hag that Edward faces in the vanilla version of the game. Normally it would script to kill itself after 3 hits no matter what happens, but because we're using one of the more obscure no free lunch flags that removes those conditions, yeah, it actually takes a couple more hits to kill. It has an HP value that is normal for a slot.
Yeah, and if it shows up in an end game boss slot, it can still pose a threat. You know, it can still hit you for 1600.
Oh yeah, and nobody's been able to free Rosa from the end yet. Dark Knight Cecil just holding her captive. DK Cecil will have at this point 4,000 HP, I believe.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be a pretty a gate for all of our runners.
Yeah, right now it definitely looks like it's gating them from Rosa.
There was the Crystal Sword. It was in the Change Rod location in Rydia's house.
Wow, I never knew she was so into that. So she changed from summons to swords apparently while I was looking. So Silver has the hook now. Night Dew actually taking the hovercraft on a ride right here. He might be the first one to explore this area at least a little bit.
I bet he at least goes to see what the character is. Again, with the no free lunch, finding any possible character is a boon because you get that party filled out. You get maybe you can not have to worry about leveling characters you don't want in your final party. So being able to check out these locations is a good idea, even if that's all he's doing.
Ducking in for the safety save there. I see Star Veils available in Fabul that can save a couple runs, as well as the life potions. Yeah, so Fabul's a good place to be right now.
Oh yeah, that's a great item.
And Night Dew, I think I agree with you. He's at least going to check as far as he can go to the character. And we see elixirs in the Kate Eblin shop.
One thing to point out with the shops is that we are playing Glitchless in this week's flag slat, which means that money is going to be harder to come by because you can't just infinitely dupe. If you're familiar with the speedrun and the duping glitch, you can obviously get money very easily. So in the Glitchless run, you're going to be looking for items to sell, and the GP becomes more of a resource management.
Yeah, and you can actually in this specific set of flags, you kind of have to play to what interests your party building at the time. So you see that Night Dew, for instance, has not sold the Leviathan thing. I might have sold that by now. I might have just gone with the assumption that there is no Rydia in the seed.
Yes, those summons sell for such a tremendous amount.
All right, so we're going to see Silver find out what's at Fabul here.
Looks like we got Tristal going to this. That is not a good spot for that. Golbez will probably annihilate him, but we'll see.
Well, the Silver did have a chance to just buy the reflect items, right? So there is a chance here.
There you go. I did not see if he had enough money. That is a very good turn of events if he was able to get one up.
So Golbez is a killer in this run. He takes forever. He's very mean with the spells.
Yeah, it seems like his spells, if he's not in his original location, his spells seem to do much more damage. I don't know if that scripted event in the Dwarf Castle kind of nerfs his magic power a little bit to make that encounter more survivable when you encounter it in the original game. But if he's not in that slot, his spells can do just a tremendous amount.
Knight do finding Porum in Evelyn. So will he continue going or not? That's the question. So with some creative use of Edward hiding. What's he gonna do? Throw out the Stardust. Okay, Golbez is in a spot now where he's not throwing out amazing damage here, so
yeah,
that's a chance.
That's pretty surprising to see that virus do such little damage. You've let me down, Golbez.
What a weakling. So Knight do checking more chests right now. You got Natara trying to free Palom. Crystal is going to get his hook pretty soon. And Silver, we're about to find out what the key item of Fabul is.
It looks like Knight 2 is actually checking the chests.
Found the crystal! Fabul King!
Wow!
Stealing the crystal. So
that's huge.
That does not actually throw him into like a go mode of a sorts or anything yet, but that is one of the two items he'll need. He'll need either the pass or the darkness crystal to get to the moon, and then he'll need levels. But that's a good news for us in the commentary team who wanted an early into the race.
Yeah, to see that crystal. So for those who are unfamiliar with this free enterprise, the crystal that you receive from Golbez right before fighting Zeromus at the end, that is actually required to cast on him to start the battle and have him shift forms, is randomized into the other key item locations. So finding that item is a huge deal.
Yeah, it really can't be undersold. And then there are some ways that this could have shaken out where the crystal would be behind Rydia's mom key item spot that's in the no free lunch stuff, and it would have taken forever to find. This is a very early crystal.
This is shaping up to looking like a pretty friendly seed.
So far, you don't want to say forever, but yeah, people still gotta free their Rosa, at least in theory.
Indeed. Having Porum in the Eblin Cave is actually a pretty big boon as well. It gives you a white mage relatively early with the hook in the Sand Ruby location.
Alright, so Knight Dude looks like he noped out of actually finishing the hook. He just wanted the character.
Yeah, I saw him checking chests down there in Eblin, and there is a trap chest down there that contains 2 Stalemans that can be kind of dangerous if you go there early. With an edge, it might not be quite as dangerous, but still something to look out for.
Crystal's doing the same thing now. He actually has both Bahamut and Ashura, so there are a lot of early summons for Rydia in this seed, if you can find her.
Yeah, I wonder where she's hiding at.
And now we're at the part where everybody's in their menus. Everybody's menuing something.
Which is a good thing to point out to those who have not played it yet. The menuing is much faster than the original game. It's one of the many quality of life changes that were implemented into this randomizer that makes going back to the original game that much more difficult.
So Knight taking his second shot at Dark Knight Cecil here, trying to free Rosa again.
I've got faith that he'll pull through, but you never know. DKC is quite the pepper.
Donkey Kong Country.
That's right.
Well, he's got some items at least to make this funny. Well, this is gonna be close.
In this instance, do you think a run buffer might help? A run buffer or two?
There we go.
Pulled it out.
Cool.
Very nicely done by Knight 2.
Clutched it out, and now Rosa and the Darkness Crystal. So there you go. You can go right to the moon and finish the game, in theory.
This is very exciting to see what Knight 2 is going to do with this. I
mean, he doesn't have the actual crystal yet, but like now that this is open, we can see from afar that the game is easily completable right now.
Absolutely. thought he had gone to the crystal location. That is my fault.
Unfortunately, no Kane or Cecil for the main weapons that we've seen early on. Edge is a good damage dealer to start, but you typically don't want him to be the only one. So it'll be interesting to see if there is a Cecil on the moon, maybe.
And with the no free lunch flag, we will only see one duplicate character, I believe, in every location available.
That is correct.
We have not seen that duplicate yet, but we were surmising that it may indeed be Edward on the moon as well. Someone
in the chat said that Rosa was in the what was it? The sanity spot.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I didn't actually look. There's an Excalibur down there too. Look at this. Look at all those weapons in the seed, man. Excalibur down in Cape Evelyn.
And it looks like we've got Tristal up in the top right, finding that trapped treasure chest and the 2 stale man.
This is a really nasty fight, actually, because both of the stalemen are really fast.
Fast and very, very strong.
His edge looks to be well defended, though. I mean, that's a chance. The thing, though, is they can actually put you to sleep with their attacks.
Yeah, and unlike other Final Fantasy games, the sleep status is not broken with physical damage.
All right, let's see who's on the moon here. I see Natara taking care of Golbez, or trying to now. She's actually going to throw the star mails.
Rydia was the character on the moon. Very nice.
Rydia on the moon. So a very mage-heavy seed.
Absolutely. She was a paladin in training, keeping the crystal sword in her basement and just taking her vacation up to the moon.
And Edward has been dismissed for the first time. Probably not the last time you'll see that. But yeah, Nightdew does not have the crystal yet, so he will probably duck out of here and try some easier stuff.
And we got Silver and Agart. Yep.
Silver will actually be able to complete the game if he's able to get past our Cecil. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody get the pass yet. If one of the players finds the pass, they could also conceivably finish the game, although they have almost nowhere to grind right now.
I did not see if Nightdew checked the shop on the moon. There is the shop that is located in the Hummingway cave.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Edward, big bombing Golbez to death on Natara's screen.
Well done, Natara.
Silver looks like he's going to take the crack at Rosa. So, if he can win this fight, he may be in one of the earliest Gomos I've ever seen for this category, the set of flags, I should say. However, there's still the matter of having to actually win the fight.
Absolutely. I'm not sure. This might be the first time he's seen it too. I can't remember if he tested it at the beginning.
He's gonna dart the defense sword here. Look at this. That's one way to do this. I don't think he's gonna win right away, but he might take it in a couple turns here.
That was a lot of damage. Yeah, there it is right there.
So Silver in official Go mode at 23 minutes here.
That is pretty uncanny for these flags. So this is a real treat seeing this unfold this way.
So the question will be how much he wants to push it. Does he want another party member to replace Edward? Where is he going to grind? So, I mean, at this point, the entire world is pretty much open to him, and it's kind of up to how comfortable he wants to play it.
Yeah, we're seeing that no free lunch flag come into play ever so much now as well. Party building is such a key aspect of that flag.
I love the no free lunch flag.
I do as well.
I understand why people are scared of it, but it really creates a lot of interesting scenarios early. And you see Tristal over here actually digging in Eblin. That's something I did not expect to see in this because there are only treasures here, only trap chests here. Natara found in the weapon shop there cat claws and ninja swords. So
Very nice find.
I mean, the funny thing is we've got a lot of good weapons, but only Edge is around to use them right now.
Which, hey, if that's all, that might all you need.
I'm sure someone's going to go for it with what we've seen and how many racers there are, but definitely you would prefer to have some more party members to Berserk for Zeromus.
Absolutely. It is interesting to see a dive into the Eblin Castle when there, as you mentioned, there are no key items and there have been just treasures galore. A lot of items being kicked out. I haven't seen a lot of armor, so that might be what he's looking for.
He also might just be trying to get some levels, but this is a really tough fight for Tom Porm to survive. All right, so Night Dew is going to be in go mode pretty soon too. It looks like if you can get past the Golbez block.
Yep, and we've got Silverfire heading to the moon to see Rydia as the character.
Natara is ducking around Mysidia, so she has got the crystal as well. She's still looking. She still has to fight Rosa to get the darkness crystal, but she's going to be the first person to actually go to Ordeals, it looks like. So that'll be some new info for us.
Now, Ordeals is an interesting dungeon in the For Enterprise. There's 3 bosses, so it's 3 chances to face something very difficult for 1 key item.
Never mind, I talked her out of it.
but it also does obviously give Tella much more viability as well as Cecil.
Yeah, and in NFL 1, I'm sorry, in Fusoyo Challenge 1, which is not the one we're using today, but one of the potential flags you can use, actually going there will give Fusoya all of his spells too. So it's Ordeals has a lot of importance, and there are a lot of enemies there. But...
Indeed.
So I didn't just waiting on Golbez. I'm sorry, were you saying something?
No. It'd be interesting to see if someone actually uses the moon to grind with such an early dark crystal.
I think you've got to. I mean, I know it's a little harder to do. There are definitely some items you would prefer to have, but
Natara taking down Dark Knight Cecil there, so she will have her darkness crystal and put her in go mode.
I mean, it could take an hour. It could take for like some of our more talented players, it could take like 45 minutes. This is a seed that was just broken open really early. Also, it depends on how fast and slow they want to play it, what their comfort level is with the specific party. Just because there are moon veils on the moon, that is a nice find for silver as far as grind survival.
If you're unfamiliar with the moon veil item, it is from the Japanese version of the game, and it actually puts a wall on your character as well as the barrier status, making you evade all physical attacks as well as reflect spells. It's incredibly helpful. It seems like the duration lasts forever as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen it wore off yet. I'm sure it can. I haven't seen it happen yet. I see that Tristol doing some shopping.
And Natara coming over Edward's equipment.
Natara now in go mode as well. I must have missed her surviving that battle, but
it looks like Silver might be making the play on the underground. He was in Eblin Cave earlier, and it looks like he's headed back, but I could be wrong.
Underground first, wow. Well, we know that there is a Excalibur in there for sure, so that's something at least.
And Night Dew did pick up his crystal there, so he is in go mode as well.
I would have been antsy with the Seed Wells, to be honest, just because there's not very much in the way of fighters. I'm not sure what I would have done. This is actually a real challenge for the runners, kind of trying to play with what they prefer and what what they really want to do with this, because it's not easy.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the strategies many of the racers use does not involve too many mages, and when you have a mage-heavy party, It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
The other thing about having the mage party is the grind will take a lot longer. We want to power them up with their best spells. So, I mean, that's on the table as well. And you also kind of also weigh with how many key items, because if you get 10 key items, then all your experience points at that point are doubled. So, I'm sure somebody's going to be fast. It's just doesn't look like it's going to be Silver. It doesn't look like Natara's got a chance of either, really.
And we've got a good point from the chat. They do have Tower of Zot available for 2 extra characters. I'm surprised we haven't seen anybody take that bait yet, but we'll see if that's a viable route for any of our 4 racers here.
Yeah, everybody's shied away from Zot, and Tara's on our deals now. So we're finally going to see what's up here. It is Ashura in the first spot. Pretty pesky battle.
Absolutely. That slot has about 3.5 thousand hit points, I believe, roughly around where Dark Knight Cecil was, and with the inability to reflect, this might be pretty tough.
Got a slow coming out.
Yeah, while Natara takes on Azura, it looks like Tristal's going to be taking on Golbez at Fadul, or it looks like he actually beat Golbez at Fadul, getting his crystal.
Natara running down at Edward's menu like, is anything here good? No, Natara, there's nothing good there. I'm sorry. Only sadness and tears.
Not even a dancing dagger.
So Night Dew also making the play on Ordeals now. And we've got Leviathan guard as the Kenato boss. That's actually not too bad. Has a lightning weakness. It'll have a lot of HP, and Ice 2 will do a lot of damage, but it's just definitely a survivable fight.
Yeah, that Ice 2 is gonna wreak some havoc. I'm wondering about the speed, if that's gonna come into play with all that HP.
Well, Leviathan's actually a pretty slow boss comparatively, so there is that as well. Natara finishing off Ashura, so she's gonna pop a save. Then we'll see the Mylon Z boss slot.
Now, does the boss? I noticed that sometimes the boss will take the properties of the slot, but also take its own properties, like its weaknesses, such as Odin is weak to lightning. Is there what exactly is slot based?
The entire scope of it?
Okay. I guess my prime example would be like the Dark Elf. Has such high magic resistance in that slot, so any boss you find in that slot will take maybe 1 damage from most spells. But if you fight the Dark Elf elsewhere, it's not necessarily the same thing. Maybe that's just the only exception I can think of.
Well, the bosses retain their weaknesses and their basic patterns and whatnot, but all their actual stats can be changed. The agilities, the power, the magic power, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So we've got on Natara's screen Edge killing his parents. That was pretty dark, I guess.
Well, it always makes me feel better when I encounter that boss and Edge is not in the party.
Well, they got to die sometime, I guess.
It is the fate we all suffer. Looks like we've got Silverfire heading back out of the Eblin cave. So I was mistaken. He had not been there before.
Push it off, Edge. Push him off. There you go. Oh, it was Rosa. Well, close enough. So Natara going to throw out another safety save. We're finally going to learn what the item here.
We're also going to see what this third boss is. Generally in this spot, it has very small hit points. So finding like a hard boss in this slot can be pretty relieving.
Crystal is in the Victoria Castle. He might be the first one to make a play on Zot here.
Ooh, looks like Silver ran into that 2 Staleman fight as well. We'll see if he can triumph over that.
I do have to reset his Ashura fight. CPU, okay. That's not a bad thing to find there.
Not at all.
CPU can be really annoying in some of the tough slots.
Tristal running into the Flame Dog in the top right there, the only trap chest in the Tower of Zot. Can pose a problem to a weaker party, but with Edge, it's probably going to be pretty easy.
We didn't actually go over that very well, but trap chests are shuffled within their dungeons, so it can be any of the treasure chests in the dungeon can contain the trap chest. And all the trap chests have a higher reward tier item usually. So Crystal coming away with the Artemis bow for his trouble. There are some of them that are a little bit annoying to take out and probably not worth the time in this set of flags, but the Flame Dog one is what I would like to pick up if I was going here anyway.
Yeah, it's a quick battle. Generally, it's one enemy, and it's pretty much not out of the way of the bosses.
Looking at the grand scope of what's going on here, you can see that there are some hourglass items, and probably the easiest way to grind for anything in this seed will be to go straight to the moon with those hourglass items, find some enemies you can stop, and just wail away on them till they die.
Yeah, those hourglass items are quite the boon. Their duration is much like the moon veils, where it seems to last for a very long time.
Yep. So Pink Tail Natara found at the top of Ordeals, and she has the hook, so she will be rewarded for her troubles with an adamant armor. If you've never seen that happen in vanilla FF4, don't be ashamed. Nobody actually has. they're like a 1 in 64 drop of a 1 in 64 creature. So adamant armors are incredibly powerful. They boost every major stat by 15. So as soon as Natara gets that on and slaps that on somebody, they are going to be really overpowered and usually take maybe like 1 damage a turn.
Indeed, and the resistance to lightning, fire, and ice is very helpful as well. I'm interested to see who she'll put it on. My guess would be Edge, but it's always, you'll find racers like to put it on their healers just for that extra defense assurity, especially when leveling up.
So we've got Dr. Luge guarding the early part of Zot. Ooh, and Tristal has made the mistake of bringing out Luge's Killbot form. This is one of those battles where if you happen to kill one before the other, the robot can either explode on you or Dr. Luge will take over, attack you for a couple turns, then explode on you. And he's going to have to hope that he has put enough damage on him right away or he might wipe here.
Looks like Nightdew just got done checking the Earth Crystal treasures. Wouldn't surprise me to see him go up to Zot as well.
Okay, he made it out, but everybody is low HP now.
In that slot, I would say Dr. Luge has what, like 10k hit points spread out amongst the three?
Yeah, it's 9,000, I think.
Okay.
Ooh, and the gas now. So this is going to be a tenuous fight for Tristal. He's got to play this a little carefully here. Not an easy one. The good thing is that Luge is pretty slow. So as long as you can keep piling on damage, none of his attacks are going to do that much in this form. And then Natara also climbing Zot. Also getting the chest fight. And both she and Tristal have the exact same party at this point, as compared to our bottom two who have Rydia.
It's nice to see the racers kind of converge after taking such diverting paths early on.
I'm surprised that nobody has made a play on the underground.
That's a little daunting when you've got a party maybe that you're not familiar with or good with even to take on that Eblin Cave into Upper Babel, because those bosses are pretty rough.
So we're nearing almost at the 40-minute mark. Nobody's finished yet. I'm really curious to see when we bring in whoever finishes first for interview, that sort of thing, what path they took. Because this seed is, I mean, you can see these players playing it mostly conservatively, but it's actually wide open. Dark Knight Cecil here in Tower of Zot.
That's a pretty big pickup given the equipment we found so far.
Well, it's a pickup for everybody but Tristal, who has not finished Ordeals yet.
That's another reason to take on ordeals as early as you can. In case you run into Dark Knight Cecil, he would already be a paladin, because you do not want that Dark Knight Cecil in your party for very long.
And here's Yang as well. So if somebody had picked up the cat claws along the way, Yang would be a nice character level up in this seed. And we already know that Cecil has the paladin stuff ready. Goodbye, Edward. So that's we have one Edward left on the stream. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. And I will shed a single tear when I see that final Edward go.
It's rough, man.
The poor guy just gets beat on the whole time. He loses his girlfriend, his castle gets bombed, and nobody wants him.
To be fair, I did play an hour and a half long fight with him, killing Plague, the Mile and Z spot. So I also kind of am sick of him, but I can understand for the memes. Let's pour one out for Edward.
I do believe that is the Twitch highlight of the year.
Well, we got Yang fighting Yang, Yang on Yang action in the Babel spot. This actually is not that bad of a fight, but Yang can put up a lot of damage on everybody, and also Yang.
It is a mirror match for the ages. Everyone's still at relatively low HP. Not a lot of leveling up going on for any of these racers.
Cecil contributing with that massive 34 damage. He's helping out. Natara Cecil will actually be able to do some good things because she already finished ordeals. Assuming she can get there through the Lugae Balnab fight.
I did not see if Natara picked up the Crystal Sword or the Excalibur, however, because I don't believe Natara has been to Eblan Cave to pick up Excalibur, and I wasn't sure if she went to Rydia's home and missed.
Well, I think the Defense Sword is also on the table, so there are a lot of potential things
sure.
we have right now.
Absolutely.
And now everybody on the channel has go converge and Tower of Zod. It's a party. Nobody wanted to take the mages and run for it, and Edward, but who can blame them for that?
This is pretty exciting. This is, to me, this is pretty rare to see. 40 minutes in, this many racers, especially those that we are featuring here, all in the same spot mid game.
Crystal finding the package for his troubles, so that's another character potentially unlocked if he wants to go for it. He wants to ditch Dark Knight Cecil, I guess. That'd be the normal play at this point.
Looks like Tristal might be going straight for ordeals to unlock that paladin class.
Also not a bad play. And I guess you can say Dark Knight Cecil is a semi-upgrade on Edward.
Oh, just a little bit more armor to take those hits away from your other party members.
For the time being, we'll go with that, yeah. Natara finding a problem where she has no heals and everybody's poisoned.
Looked like her inventory was pretty full too. When you play with these the Japanese items, inventory management can become a nightmare if you don't keep up with it.
In the glitchless flags, I find it's really important to just stop and you know, sell some things for money anyway. So
yeah, merchant simulator.
Yeah. Get rid of a lot of these samurai shields and whatnot. But Tar didn't do that yet, so.
It looks like Tristal has worked his way to the Azura fight. Might be a little easier than we've seen our other racers. Or maybe just Natara, I believe, might be the only one that's finished ordeal so far.
Yep. That's what the trackers are telling us. I know that Naidu made a play on it, but I guess he didn't actually complete it. So Naidu also about to get through the karate fight. One Yang or the other.
He's gonna fight you.
He's gonna fight you, fight you, fight you, fight you. One of the worst things we've ever done on stream. Okay, so anyway.
Worst, best, always synonymous. I suppose we're seeing a lot of the same things on screen that we've already talked about. We could go over the flags a little bit more if you'd like.
And Atara's got the crystal sword, so
fantastic.
I think her Paladin Cecil will be just fine.
Absolutely.
So that's a big plus for her. That is the official end of Edward, unfortunately.
And there is the single tear rolling down my cheek.
So the interesting thing about this seed, though, is, I mean, you can go underground at this point, but that's pretty much your only option. Either you're going to go fight Zeromus with what you got now, or you got to claw through the hook spot, the upper tower Babel, which is actually pretty difficult. So
it is. It looks like we have a Silver Fire taking on Luga and encountering some difficulty with Rosa asleep and Edge being the remaining alive party member. But with that HP pool, he should be okay.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
you never know.
If he's gonna play it this safe, he might not be okay, but we'll see. I think he'll be fine. Tristal finally climbing the mountain, getting his Paladin Cecil and Peak Tail. But yeah, at this point, these runners have two choices, and it's either go to the moon and try to win the game, or go underground through the hook spot.
I imagine our racers will feel a little more comfortable going either way now that they've gotten a couple more characters from Zot.
Well, the Paladin Cecil with the Natara has put together is very nice to have. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I'll answer this question in chat. The randomizer handles Cecil's transformation by making sure that he is always Dark Cecil until you complete the Mount Ordeal's quest, and from that point on, he will always be a paladin. And if you come here without him, it will say Cecil became a paladin wherever he is.
And the same thing for Tellus spells. If he's not in your party, it will still give him the spells he earns at more ordeals, including Medio. It looks like we're probably going to see some advancement here from our racers who are completing Zot.
So Night Dew is going to make the play, looks like, for the package.
With that party, it's kind of surprising.
He's going to give Rydia the Dragon Whip. That's funny. I say we don't see enough of the stat boosting strength agility equipment for the ladies in this game. It's some funny stuff to watch for sure, but
it is.
It's pretty rare to see it actually brought out.
I've had the Dragon Whip and the Heroin Garb on Rydia before. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, I've had played a couple of Kata seeds. You don't know what those are. Those are the most difficult seeds you can conjure up by the game logic, the random logic, basically. I've had a couple of those where my main damage dealer early was Rydia with the Fire Whip, and that's all I had.
Oh boy, that does not surprise me.
Just got a Berserker and pray for the best.
Looks like we've got Tristal back in Castle Eblin, likely looking for some better items out of those trap chests or some more experience for his party.
Tristal just can't quit Castle Eblin. So Natara actually getting the spaceship. We may see her make a play on the moon now with this party.
She may be going up looking for the character, but if she starts grinding, we might be seeing a gamble for the literal go mode.
Yeah, again, if anybody is joining us late, everybody who's playing right now has the means to complete the game right now. But for whatever reason, comfort with their party, not really familiar with the ways to grind on the moon, they haven't actually gone to the moon to do it yet. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of them picks it up first. The only other option they really have is to go try to complete the upper tower of Babel to get to the Underworld. And the magma key was blocked off, unfortunately.
They could make the play to go to the Giant of Babel as well to see if they can get the character there, but that might be a death sentence at this point with the current levels.
Yeah,
And it looks like just moon veils at the in the moon shop, so that's very apt. Thank you, Hummingway.
yeah. Talon never gets more than 90 magic points in the vanilla game, unless you throw a Soma drop on him, which increases MP by 10. In speedruns, though, where you're actually using glitches, it doesn't matter because you can underflow his MP, and you just cast Meteor anyway.
Looks like Silver was able to get through Lugay and on through Yang, so he will be picking up the key item from Zod as well, which is the package.
Nightdew making quick work of everybody on Mount Ordeals with Leviathan.
It's nice to see Rydia in play.
Not that they didn't actually have enough space in the text box to throw the fan on there, so it's Leviathan here.
That always confused me.
Ooh,
looks like Tristal is back in Cave Eblin, possibly making the play on Underground, going to the Upper Babel. And we'll see Natara pick up Rydia in the top left there. Whether she keeps Rydia or dismisses her.
Yeah, at this point with her party, I wouldn't take Rydia, but
it's a hard sell, that's for sure.
Even with all the summons that they've accumulated along the way, looks like she will also get rid of Rydia.
You'll see Silverfire in the bottom left having to rearrange his entire inventory because he got a key item. Again, with that Japanese flag and hunting a lot of treasures, your inventory can clutter up very quickly.
So Natara made the save, and it looks like she's going to at least... Oh, she may be trying to fight outside. Interesting. For an early grind. So these Procyote, Juclyote, I'm going to go with that pronunciation.
That sounds good to me.
These things have about 8,000 experience apiece. So
yeah, it's not a bad idea, especially if Natara is thinking about making the play on Zeromus. This would be a natural way to grind, do the stuff outside, go inside, and use the hourglasses if you have them. It looks like Tristal's still checking chests. He found the trap chest in the Upper Babel with the 4 Mad Ogres.
Yeah, finding the hourglasses would have been a big key to this seed, which is kind of rare for these flags because normally you're not grinding on them. Normally you're just trying to find the pass and just go for it. But
absolutely.
The way this seed played out, this is actually one of those words where you would want to pick up hourglasses.
And a lot of the seeds I saw the racers practicing with this week, I rarely saw the moon, so it's pretty refreshing to see Natara up there fighting.
So it looks like Tristal will be the first one to show us who is blocking the way to the Underworld here.
Which I believe it was Leviathan and Ruby spot, but we will see who's in the King and Queen spot as well.
The King and Queen spot can also be pretty troubling.
Yeah, their HP value is no joke.
I've seen Neum run into like Antlion there a couple times, get wrecked. So, be interesting. Natara bailing out, at least for the moment. Maybe thinking I need the right items to play, make this play.
Natara may also be thinking, get more key items, make the grind a little easier. With these flags, once you gather 10 key items, your experience points double, making the grind portion and making it easier to level your characters in order to be strong enough for the final fight.
Yeah, she's going underground, it looks like.
It looks like Silver just took out Azura in the bottom left-hand corner there. He'll be hoping to complete ordeals to turn Cecil into a paladin as well.
It's Octomam time for Tristal.
Oh, that could be pretty rough.
992 in the front row.
Whew. No me gusta.
Now, I know that this slot has had its HP toned down a little bit, so it's not quite as awful as it could have been. But
what was the original slot's HP value? I'm not entirely sure what that was. I know it was something outlandish.
I can't remember either offhand, but it was a lot more than it should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like you got through Octomam pretty quickly there.
Interesting that we've seen all the runners pretty much diverge for 35 minutes, come back a new tower together, and now it looks like they're all going to go underground together unless Natara finds something she likes in Evelyn.
Yeah, you folks will want to stick around for this. This is looking like it's going to be a race, photo finish, because if they're taking the same path, it's going to be very, very close.
And again, we're only featuring 4 of these runners. There are, I can't even count, like 17 maybe in the race.
I think that is about right, 17 or 18.
18, yeah, 18 in the race. So it's conceivable and maybe even likely with the way that these guys are routing this that somebody finishes off stream before anybody on stream does. But the race itself that we're seeing here is excellent right now.
Absolutely. And as you said before, it'll be interesting to get whoever wins, their thoughts and their route that they took, to see if they made any different gambles or path than the featured racers we're seeing now. Provided one of our featured racers does not win.
Alright, so Leviathan actually turned out to be a pretty nice boss to find in this Ruby slot. Ice 2 isn't doing too much damage. Big Wave, I think, is only doing a quarter. So there are much trollier bosses that could have been placed here.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised by that, but our racers will be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, if you think about it, though, Ruby doesn't really have huge spell power in the vanilla game anyway.
I have seen Mist Dragon in that spot, and that is not a pleasant fight in Rubicon's position.
Yeah, Ruby's attack power is much higher. That's what you want to avoid, somebody with high attack power here. And there goes Leviathan changing modes again. Crystal's got the Quake going with Palom. Only one in the lunar sub. It could have been Mia, according to Game Boy. That's interesting. I'm really surprised. I would have thought somebody would have played this seed more aggressively. To finding only the Silent Staff for his troubles in the Ogre fight. That's a pretty good White Mage stat boosting weapon. It boosts the willpower stat, which is kind of what powers all white magic by 10, but it's not really a great reward for a trap chest. Something you could probably find in a shop.
Yeah, I was unaware that actually raised stats. That's good to know.
And we have a newbie guide in the Discord that kind of goes over what stats are raised and lowered by equipment. So it's the second highest you can get is a plus 10 there. The life staff does plus 15, and I think I saw Natara has it already. So,
and if you're watching and you haven't already joined the Discord, that can be found on the website ff4-free-enterprise.com.
So Tristal was the first one to make it to the Underworld, at least on our stream.
And once you get to the Underworld, there's a lot of different options you can take.
Yeah, and in these no encounter seeds, you can pretty much waltz right through the what's it called? The Fey March to get a key item for free in the vanilla rat tail chest. You can talk to Yang and then burrow through the underground to get a key item from the pan slot. And you can also go to the Dwarf Castle, which I think looks like Crystal's play right here, to get a key item and a character. I don't think he actually needs a character at this point, does he? He's got a pretty good team, but
yeah. Most of our racers do have a pretty solid party.
At this point, when you've got Cecil, Yang, and Edge, you're pretty okay. Although Night Dew, Cecil just got owned in the face right there. Thankfully, the vanilla Queen King Ebb 1 fight slot doesn't have the experience anyway, so nothing really lost.
And you get the free refill right as you enter that Rubicons fight.
And here's Bacon in the Dolls fight slot. This is a tough fight, actually. He's pretty fast. He does a lot of damage. Crystal has boosted his Cecil pretty well, so he should be okay.
That slot tends to have a lot of hit points as well.
Yeah, it's up around the 9,000 range.
Looks like Silver taking on the four Mad Ogre chest as well in the bottom left-hand corner. He will be rewarded with the Silent Staff.
So we're trying to turn them all into toads. There's a lot of fun and creative ways to kill these ogres because while they have high magic defense, they don't have much immunity to status effects. So you can see some people use size on them to make them small. You'll see some people try to turn them into frogs, or just use the stone spell and kill them immediately. Silver actually using the life glitch here, which is where you throw a life potion onto a dying enemy, and the game tries to revive it, but because there is no vitality stat for enemies, it revives it at 0 HP and then it dies again, giving you extra experience.
And that glitch is most notoriously used in the No 64 speedrun, in the D Machine fight in the Giant of Babel. I do love when size is used on ogres to see those teeny tiny versions of ogres.
They're so cute. And Vinny is back for more for Crystal.
Is that our duplicate character then? Is Rydia?
Yep, that's our duplicate. And here's Plague. But Plague in this spot is not that bad. It's only 3,000 HP.
This is definitely one of the best spots to find Plague, I would think.
Plague can be a real block, a real pain to get through in spots with higher HP. But right here, he's probably going to get brushed aside pretty quickly. Yep.
Yeah, down goes Plague. So it looks like pretty soon Night Dew is going to be underground after this boss death animation finishes. It'll be interesting to see which way Night heads.
And here's Plague using an arm that somehow it grew out of nowhere to grab this item.
It would be pretty wonderful to see a wing just flapping around on the floor there.
And Crystal will try to leave here and get a key item from the Luca key spot. And it's the Twin Harp, so that opens up going through the Dark Elf Cave, the sealed cave. And normally that's kind of a environment challenge where everybody is paralyzed if they have anything metallic on, but since there are no encounters, actually pretty free to go through.
I also did not fall for the trap of warping back into the crystal room and finding no item due to it being a glitchless flag. Something that I know many racers are guilty of just out of habit.
Yeah, there can be 2 copies of one character in a seed, but you can't have 2 copies in the same party. Just to kind of clarify what's going on in the chat. So Crystal, zooming down here, looks like he's going to get the vanilla pan spot taken care of. All you have to do for this is talk to Yang, and that will trigger getting a key item from Yang's wife.
Sheila.
Yang's wife. No, I know, but they're just, growing up with it for so many years, it's just hard to think about it sometimes.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So he's actually going to make the play there right away. We've got Night Dew crawling up behind him, about to take on Bacon on his own. And Silver throwing on the Dorpax here.
About to take on both Octomom and Leviathan.
Yep. Tara treasure hunting this cave and just found the Staleman fight.
Yep, she is surely more prepared to take on that fight.
Yeah, it's nice when you have all the HP in the world, isn't it?
Absolutely. We'll see how Night Dew fares against Bagan in the Dolls spot.
So I missed what Crystal actually got there.
As did I. Chat, can you help us out?
If anybody saw it, let us know. But he is now headed to the Vanilla Twin Hearts spot. One of the neatest things about this game is that Boardface kind of coded a random song to play once you get here on Edward's Harp, not his heart. He can't play his heart. And,
he can surely play mine, though.
Corny as hell. 10 out of 10. So, if Natara ever gets there, we'll hear it on the stream. But for now, just feel content to know that Crystal's about to hear some sweet tunes.
Question in the chat: are Paladin Cecil or Adult Rydia objectively better, or would there ever be situations to not go through the upgrade process? Rivers, would you care to answer that?
Paladin Cecil is always objectively better. Like 100 out of 100 times. Rydia, it actually kind of depends if you want to invest the time or not, because normally by the time you get to the bottom of the Underworld here, Rydia, as a character, has enough spells, equipment anyway to be useful, and it doesn't really impact her that much to not have Fire 2, Ice 2, Thunder 2, and the Titan summon. But there's not really much of a difference. It's just whether you want to invest the time at that point.
It's going to kill me not knowing what this song is, I tell you. Looks like Natara's heading over to the big whale again. She might be making a play on the moon.
Silverfire actually is grinding here in the Tower of Babel. He's using the summoner virusing swordman.
I'm wondering, I wasn't able to see it, if he ran into problems with Octomom or Leviathan, if that's what's causing him to grind beforehand.
Well, Natara is headed for the Giant of Babel.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting play. She has just actually asked in the chat if they're allowed to use the Life Vitality. So I think you can figure out her plan from here. Though I'm wondering how she's going to pull it off when she doesn't have anybody cast weak.
Yeah, that's going to be
I wonder
difficult.
if she does not actually know that that's happening right now.
It could just be out of habit wanting to grind and head to the Giant of Babel.
So Night Dew is about to figure out the item down here. The Legend Sword was available in the Summon Monsters Town, aka the Fame Arch. Pretty much the worst item you can get of all the key items.
Yeah, Legend Sword and Adamant for sure. It is nice that if you have underground access and you have the X2 flag on, getting these quick key items will get you to 10 much faster to make grinding even quicker.
The White Robe is really nice, though. That's a nice find for an idea.
Looks like we're about to see the boss in the Dark Elf spot on Crystal screen.
It's Valvelus.
Valvelus with no cane to be found. I can't imagine that it would be too difficult, but you never know with Velvalis.
This is a fight where everybody's got some big weapons, so Crystal will be fine here. And it's not like he's got any magic to really play with anyway, so it's just power him.
Yep.
Just gonna be letting the big boys hit it out. Natara, I think, is realizing the flaws in her plan as we speak.
Which is unfortunate, but it'll be interesting to see how Natara continues, if she goes on through Babel to see who the character is, or just get the experience from the bosses, because there is quite a bit of experience from those two bosses.
One thing about the life glitch and the D machine grind in Glitchless in particular is that instead of having this infinite supply of magic points, you do not have that.
Yes, you run out of weeks very quickly.
Which is a problem here. Alright, we got Nightdew. Nightdew trying to grind. He's trying to do the 3 peninsula grind, but he's a little bit too low. He needs to be a little bit higher.
Oh, it looks like we got the tower key from Tristle's a little excursion down into the Magnus Cave.
Oh, good, the tower key. So, just to try to talk about what Nightdew is doing, what he's trying to do is use the Siren item, which summons the rarest enemy in a given spot, to attack your party right away. And he's trying to use it to grind on the yellow dragon, which gives a, like, I want to say 30,000 experience or so. But he's using it in the wrong spot, and he doesn't actually know the right spot. There's like a little tiny 3-step peninsula on the very left of this that he wants, and he is not getting it.
In the DS version, you can summon that yellow dragon in the egg on the cave entrance to the Summoner's Island. Is that the case here in the Super Nintendo version as well, or no?
I actually don't know. I've never tested this because it's never been part of the US speedrun route at all. I learned about it when other people did it in the rando, and copied it and tried to learn about it, but I haven't explored it in depth yet.
I'd be interested to find out, because I did see that it's quite a bit of experience for a relatively easy battle. And it looks like we do have Natara facing off against those searchers in the Giant of Babel.
Yeah, and the great thing about that grind is the egg actually takes the damage for the enemy as well, so it's really hard to not kill it. Yeah, even if you're kind of under level. Yeah, you dismiss the party member, and you, for now. There may be certain updates happening in the future that change that. I don't know. I'm just saying it could happen.
Breaking news. You heard it first.
We do work on this a lot.
One thing that when you do dismiss a party member, when you're working with that no free lunch flag, and I know I've been really harping on that flag in particular, but if you are dismissing a party member, the chances of you running into that party member again are very, very slim, because you only have that one duplicate.
So Nightdew is going to be the first one to shift the top of the tower battle here. I guess everybody's just trying to get the 10 key items at this point for their grinds, except for Natara, who I've got to imagine is frustrated because she doesn't really know what she's supposed to be doing. Doing the vanilla strats.
It's hard to deny the power of that 10 key item grind. Once you've done it and get used to it, it's almost hard to go back. And it's a very nice quality of life change, and it's spoiled me personally. So I don't blame the racers for wanting to take that route.
Nightdew running into Pale Dim. This is actually not a bad fight in this spot, just because everything he's got is pretty overpowered. Pale Dim, though, is really a nasty boss early on because he absorbs every bit of fire, ice, and lightning damage that you can throw at him.
And with this seed, with a magic-heavy party, that would have been quite the obstacle.
Yep. But instead, this is pretty much just a hold A and finish fight. Especially with Cecil as well leveled as he is.
Now, with a highly leveled Cecil, and I'm not sure if anyone's found a cursed ring, but with a high-level Cecil, we may be seeing some runners face a Zeromus fight that they may not be used to in terms of speed. I suppose we could talk more about that as we get closer to that fight, but it is something to be wary of.
Yeah, the runners will want to start Cecil out and fight without his crystal sword if that's what they're using, because it boosts his agility so much, and then just put it on after the fight starts so that it doesn't impact his agility at the start. Because once the fight starts, the agilities are all locked in.
Looks like Tristal is going through the tower, about to see what boss is at the top of lower Babel. Oh, and Silverfire again down to just Rosa against Leviathan. That Ice 2 making quick work of his party members.
Knight 2 finding the rat tail at the top of Tower Babel. So at this point, we've got pretty much all the locations that we think of, except for
to the tower key on the way down from the super cannon.
Tower key on the way down, the sealed cave, and the pan spot from Yang's wife.
Has
Sheila.
anyone checked the Has anyone checked the Mist Dragon location? I know we know where it is in Baron.
They haven't had the Baron key to do it.
Aha.
Now it's possible that the item that we missed from Sheila was the Baron key, but that I haven't been able to confirm yet.
It was the Twin Harp actually. Tristal was the one that went up, and then immediately after he got that item from Yang's wife, he went to do the Twin Harp, the Magnus Cave, if you will.
I see. Okay. Cool.
I believe anyway.
I'm gonna go with I can't confirm that, but I think I think I trust you. You sound like a reasonable guy.
My power of deduction is not what it used to be, but it was the leap I made. We've got a question in chat. Is high Cecil agility what causes Zeromus to shake and then Big Bang rather quickly? That may be a question best answered by Rivers.
High agility Cecil. It's hard to really answer that question because it's not about what high agility or low agility. His relative agility to Zeromus and to your characters. There's kind of a sweet spot that you want to hit. It's complicated. In the vanilla speedrun, basically what we want to do is lower his agility so that all of his party members are faster and Zeromus is slower. That doesn't always play out that way in the actual FE runs because everybody's getting leveled. But generally speaking, yeah, if your Zeromus is going really because Cecil is really high level.
It looks like the spoon was behind the rat tail in the Smith's Cave.
Ew. Well, that doesn't help anybody at all.
Not at all.
The Tara is fighting the last arm. So, in the chest, she will get an Excalibur for her troubles. It's too bad that Cecil already has the crystal sword.
I suppose it's one more to throw for Edge. If you go the route of throwing items.
There is that. I'm really surprised we haven't seen anybody finish yet at 117.
We're seeing Nightdew make a play on the moon. I believe it's his first trip.
No, because he picked up Porum at the time. I think it was.
Rydia, yes.
Rydia, yeah. Here's Mylon Z just hanging out in the cannon, telling you to fall flat into the deep ravine, even though there is no ravine in the tower, and getting quickly slapped around by Edge. Yeah, that boss slot has really low HP and usually gets one-shotted no matter who it is. And here we go. We got a first-place finisher. That is Invenerable with a time of 1:18.25.
GG to Invenerable.
So we have asked if he wants to take part in an interview. If he wants to, he can. No pressure either way. I do is taking care to grind now, it looks like.
I believe so. Had my stream freeze there for a second.
Yeah, he is grinding in the upper part of the core here.
Looks like Tristal is completing the lower tower of Babel. Silverfire is now through the Leviathan gate that he encountered, so he will be heading to the underground as well.
Woo! How's it going, y'all?
Hey, GG and Venerable.
GG and Venerable.
My excessive amount of practice this week apparently paid off compared to last week. Also, I guess it helps that K3 wasn't in play.
So tell us kind of what your route was, because we've seen a lot of people on this on the stream not really speeding it up at all. So what did you do?
Well, I checked a few overworld locations right off the bat. I think, if I remember, we started with the Earth Crystal, and if I get that in this seed, I'll actually swing by Troya just to loot their basement, because there's just so many chests there. And then, I mean, I know I got both the Crystal and the Darkness Crystal very early, like 15, 18 minutes in. But, of course, nowhere near ready to fight, to go to the moon at that point. But I think the key thing that made the difference is when I went down through the Cave of Eblin to reach the Underworld, I bought 90 sirens from the shop there. So as soon as I hit the Underworld, I just hit those yellow dragons nonstop until I had levels, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of players get to the Underworld and try that strategy, seemingly confused about where to use them.
Yeah, I actually just learned where that was last night, so it extremely paid off today.
Yeah, it's there's a little 3-step peninsula that you want to use them on. If you haven't seen it yet, hopefully somebody on stream will show it soon. I actually put it in the newbie guide.
Yeah, I saw that today. Like last night I went hunting for it, then I went to the newbie guide earlier just in case I ended up having to grind in the giant for the chart you have there, and I'm like, oh, yellow dragon's here now. I spent all that time last night figuring it out when I should have just read.
Well, I was thinking about it for a while. Into it. Bill, did you have something to say?
Yeah, speaking of the devil, I believe Silverfire just found that location to grind on those dragons, and we will see exactly how that pans out for him.
So what was your final party in Venerable?
I had Edge, Yong with the adamant armor, Paladin Cecil with the crystal sword, and then Palom and Rosa. And both Edge and Palom went down during the fight because I mistimed a big bang nerf. But the other three were able to finish it off with a Bacchus wine and the heals.
So it looks like tell me about tell me about you know, you have the the crystal, you have the darkness crystal, but you have a party full of mages at that point. Did you even consider going to the moon at all?
I think I did go to the moon early and picked up whichever character was there. I don't remember. Everything's a blur at this point in my head. I know I went to the moon early, and was that where Palom was?
That was where
Rydia
was.
Oh yeah. I had Rydia until Tower of Zod. Poor thing never even gained a level, I think. And booted her out as soon as I saw Dark Knight Cecil, because I'm like, well, I have a crystal sword. Time to do my ordeals.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We've seen a lot of really good summons in the seed actually, but I think only one person on our stream right now has a party still.
Yeah, I found Leviathan and gave it to her, but she didn't survive the Lugae fight in the Magus Sisters location, and then it was like, well, okay, I guess we're good.
Let me see if I can actually find a way to link that. Actually, I'll just throw this in the chat. Yeah, there is a. Oh, so far I found it finally. Good. Wait, did he? I guess you
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Fire
Cool.
found it. Yep.
All right. Well, that's another spot you can get it, I guess. Yeah. So you're seeing the Yellow D grind on stream now, finally, and this is pretty quick. Not very hard at all for his levels and his attack power, for sure.
Yeah, one good hit while it's in the egg, and it's pretty much, oh, well, there's a free 33,000 experience, or however much.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got 10. I don't think he has 10 free items yet.
No, I think he's got
but...
6.
So he's pulling up 31, but yeah.
Okay, that's what it was, yeah. I only had 6 at that point as well.
Did you have any other general thoughts on the seed? Anything that popped out at you?
Well, the one thing that slightly embarrassed me was, so usually when I go into Babel, I like to do the fight first, then get the treasure on my way back down. And obviously, first thing I see when I start the fight is Golbez, and it's like, well, reset. But luckily the shop had Star Veils for sale, so that made that a lot easier than it could have been otherwise.
Yeah, that was a very convenient placement for the runners. The inconvenient thing was anybody who saw that early, well, I'm going to push this Rosa fight early. Got to save her from Dark Knight Cecil. And,
Oh yeah. I didn't when he appeared, I thought, oh, I might have to do another reset like I did with Golbez, but my edge was strong enough to close out that fight.
Yeah, it was pretty tight for everybody who tried it early.
Well, I'm gonna dip out of the chat and watch the other racers. Thanks for the interview, and I'll see you guys on the Discord.
Absolutely.
Congrats again, man.
Really
Thank
nice
you.
race, Invenerable. All right, we're seeing some grinding going on for both Silverfire and Natara. Natara still in the Giant of Babel, trying to make that grind fight work.
One thing about Natara is that when she's in on something, she's determined. She wants to finish this.
It's determination is very admirable, and especially she's sitting at 6 key items as well, so it's a little tougher on the EXP grind.
Tristle's just gonna fight bosses, looks like, so he's just gonna wander in and fight Odin. Let's see how this goes for him.
It's pretty great to see everyone is pretty much on the same stage of their run, where they're wanting the levels, they're wanting to grind, and they're all 4 taking different paths. It's a very unique aspect of this randomizer, is just how you can go about different ways to accomplish the same goal.
Yeah, I would say, Neve, that Surmiko, that Silver is trying to keep Cecil's agility low. He's a true Cecil agility believer. So we got Night Dew doing his grind on the referring to. Crystal just fighting bosses underground, and Silver is doing this more complex, subtle Yellow Dragon grind.
I'm seeing on the tracker that Night Dew only has 9 key items. I'm hoping that we might have just missed one and that he's getting the full 10 key item bonus. But I guess I'll have to see him finish another fight to be able to determine that.
Well, Crystal just got owned by Odin.
That's not a surprise in that location.
That was, yeah. If you've never actually seen Odin vanilla, and it's kind of a boss that you have to know where you're going to find him. Basically, you get like let's say 10, 12 turns, and then Odin just like raises the sword and is like, "We're gonna finish this now," and he just owns you.
All right, so we've got chat saying that the Luca key was given by Yang's wife, which may have been after the pan. It looks like Tristal might be the only one that has actually turned in the pan item.
Yeah, he must have gotten the pan on the tower key slot. That would make sense. Because we know that we've already said that the spoon was the reward for Twin Harp, right?
Rat Tail was spoon. Twin Harp was where Sheila was. Before pre-pan Sheila, we'll call it.
Pre-pan Sheila. All right, we got our second finisher now. Shile Asia finished in second place with a time of 1:28.11.
Very nice run.
Let's see if we can get them in here to talk about it.
Oh, I guess Luca Key came from pre-pan Sheila. Not sure where Twin Harp came from. I knew we must have all missed that. All right, so we've got Silverfire checking out the town on the southern edge of the underground, probably checking out what the item shop is selling. And we've got Tristal in the top right checking the rat tail and the pink tail. He will be rewarded with the spoon and the adamant armor, respectively. Up on Natara's screen, she is heading into the Crystal Palace on the moon.
Oh, look, heroin.
Hello.
Hi, Shy. Congratulations.
GG.
Thank you. Yeah, I think some people had troubles with Leviathan.
Pretty consistent, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty consistently on our screen.
I was really fucking lucky on the last hit. It was neither me or him. So
what party did you finish with?
what did you mean?
What characters did you have?
Rydia, Palom, double Porum, Rosa, Edge.
Oh,
so
wow,
I was
yeah.
I power leveled until both mages had Meteo and then just face roll.
Interesting. That's cool. We saw a lot of people early on get the mages, get the crystal, get the darkness crystal, and then kind of throw their hands up.
Yeah, that was the pass because I didn't saw it. So I went without the pass, you know. I just went the long walk.
I actually haven't seen it either. Have you seen it, Bill?
The pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I do know that Night Dew just used the pass and is heading to Zeromus as we speak.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, maybe it was on the moon.
it was definitely on the seed.
It was not in the moon. I believe it was underground, because I know there was some item shop checking down there that we missed.
Okay. Yeah, let me. Yeah, but this sheet was pretty good and fun though. It was just some bosses who were pain in the ass. Sorry to say that, but.
We've got a third place finisher now, Kong Cakes, who has got done with a time of 1:31.06. So GG to him.
GG Kong.
Do you have any other major takeaways from the Seed, Shy?
No, not really.
No. You're tired, just a little.
A man of few words. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not really tired, but I thought let's just go duo mage, you know, with Palom and Radia. If you compare with double healer, it can be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked out for you. Second place. That's really good, man. Congrats.
Yeah, and I started like a little over a week ago, so all the grinding is paying off.
Fantastic. Really good job.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great night or evening, whatever it is at your place.
Thanks. Congrats again, man.
Yeah, thank
GG
you.
Shy.
So you see one of the things on stream playing on now is the Zeromus, right? We were careful not to spoil that for you. It is Dr. Robotnik in the egg.
A wonderful sprite. That is accompanying the Z flag of our weekly flag set, and Zeromus' sprite will be randomized every time you encounter him. Now, we are joined by Kong Cakes as well, our third place finisher with a time of 1:31.06. GG Kong Cakes.
Thank you. Actually, my power went out during the race, so I lost a good chunk of time there.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to go back through the dwarf castle, fight those two bosses, go back through the tower, go back to Yang. Yeah, it was a big loss because the power outage. This is the second weekly in a row that I've lost power. I don't know. I have some bad luck on Mondays. It seems I'm Garfield.
Watch out for that lasagna.
Yeah, actually, that's probably the only thing that make the night go a little better. Would be nice pan of lasagna for sure.
Do you have any general thoughts on the Seed, Kong? Did you have any like trouble points you want to talk about?
No, I like these ones because we've been doing a few races of these over the week, of course, and I've been practicing a lot. They're like it seems like it's once you get started, it gets a little bit easier after you start going. But you know, towards the beginning, depending on what characters you get, since there's since there's limited characters, it is kind of fun because you got to kind of like pick and choose your battles towards the beginning. Like we had Edge come out as like the second character, like the starting characters. That was nice. You know, I've played a few where it's like Edward and Tella, and then you get 2 other characters. So you really have to kind of, you know, find those attack items or do what you can to raise your chances to win each fight with the limited characters you get, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, everybody that you know started in the chat room was like, oh well, you know, it's Edward. This is awful. You know, all of a sudden it's just like Edge, Crystal, Dark Crystal, do your thing.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Edge was the second character, I was like, all right, cool. I mean, Edward stinks, but for the beginning, you know, he starts at level 25, so I mean, if you just find him any sword towards the beginning, then okay, you're all right.
Well, you mentioned going into the underground and doing kind of the gamut down there. Did you find the pass, or what did you think about that early Dark Crystal?
I thought I found a pass before, but I think I bought a random item in a shop that might have begun with the letter P, if there is one, because I thought I saw a pass, but then when I was down, I think it was underground, I was checking one of the shops, and I was like, oh, there's a pass here. I thought I already owned it, and I bought one. I looked at my inventory and I had one, and I was like, okay, well, that's a good thing I saw that, because I thought I had it a while ago, and I did not, so I messed up my look in there somehow.
Yeah, it looked like Silver found it in Tamra, I believe. There.
Yeah, I thought I found it somewhere on the overworld, but I don't know what I was looking at. So when I saw it in the shop, I was like, oh, thank goodness. I would have been trying to get inside in Toria, and they would have told me I didn't have it. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? I thought I bought this, and I had to run back. That would have been terrible, but.
Nice, man. Well, you put on a good show today. 3rd place again with internet troubles is really good.
Yeah, it's these seeds are pretty fun. I really like them, and they're short, which is cool. You can get a couple in the same night, which is nice. But I really do like, you know, because I think last week's with the items being in all the trap chests and whatnot, you know, that gave a little extra, at least towards the beginning, like with a little bit of challenge, because you have to go in and fight those fights. You know, you have to try you have to look for the trap chest, and, you know, in case there's an item in there. And I really like how this one, at least for the beginning of it, it does have a little challenge to it with the no free lunch. I really like that flag.
Sorry to interrupt you, Conky. So we do have a 4th and 5th place finisher
nice.
Within a matter of seconds of each other. We have Demarin 2 finishing in 4th place with a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 3 seconds, and Night Dew 14 finishing in 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 45 seconds. We did just see Night Dew kill Zeromus in the bottom right-hand corner. So GG to both of those runners.
Yeah, first finished run on the stream, so that's really good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there should be a lot of, you know, yeah, this is a good fun. Get these seeds in and out, and you know, get them done pretty quick, which is good.
Yeah, it looks like Natara is grinding on the moon still. Silver's doing his yellow D grind, and Crystal has not found the dark crystal because I think he forgot about the N, and now he is fighting the Mist Dragon in Baron Castle on this. He's just riding the chain at this point.
We may see 100% run out of Crystal by Night's End. And it looks like we have our 6th place finisher with Alexa LaFay finishing in 6th place with a time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 30 seconds. GG, Alexa.
Yeah, GG. Kong, you got anything else to share?
No, hey, but thank you guys so much for you know, putting on the race and whatnot. These weeklies are a ton of fun. I've never been too much with the racing, but I really do enjoy it, and it's been fun. You know, kind of testing my skill here with these.
Yeah, we've had a really. I'm really impressed by how big the weekly has gotten in just a short amount of time, and it's really, the community has been really great. You know, banding together and put these on.
I was just about to echo those sentiments and thank Kong for racing. It's great to see this many racers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in chat probably know this, and especially the racers. But I just want to give a shout out to the whole like everybody involved, because I joined that Discord like last week, and I was super nervous because I don't really know much about Final Fantasy IV, and I was like, man, I'm gonna look like such a dummy. But like legit, everyone in the Discord, in the community, just so awesome. Everybody's so cool, and that's so refreshing and fun to see.
Hi, Demarin. Congrats on 4th place. GG.
GG.
Thank you so much. That was unexpected, but very pleasant. I've been practicing this flag set a ton, so it was a lot of fun.
Do you have any general thoughts on the seed? Anything really pop?
I misrouted a little bit with Edge running into early Dark Knight Cecil. I was like, oh, easy Rosa, no problem, no safety save, got myself killed. Went up into Zod early without items, realized I needed to stop and turn around and go and find items, but when I found Zeus's Rages in Underground, I'm like, all right, turning back around. And then was able to use that to clean up a lot of the game, which was good. And
You'd be surprised how many people died to Dark Knight Cecil just on the stream.
oh yeah, no, I believe it. And the fact that I grabbed a ton of Zeus's Rages was nice because I needed to grind a couple of battles to get some levels to kill Leviathan to get underground access, to get access to Siren Farm. And that, I died to Leviathan once. And I died to Octomom right before Leviathan because Octomom is super fast.
It looks like we do have a 7th place finisher. Sorry to interrupt. The Edgeworth has finished in 7th place with an SRL time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 28 seconds. So good game to Edgeworth.
Yeah, everyone's clustered right around the same time. That's pretty neat. But thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
No, congrats. And you know, what was your final party looking like? What did you wind up doing with Zeromus?
It was Cecil, Edge, Yang, Rosa, and Hallam.
That's pretty common from what we've seen so far. Yeah, a lot of people winding up. Not many people actually took the mages. Shile took the mages, but everybody else seems to have been finding the Earth Crystal Tower of Zot path the way to go.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna take my leave here, but I want to thank you all again for putting this on. This is so much fun, and thanks y'all so much, and congrats to everybody else, all the other finishers.
Absolutely, thanks a lot, Colin.
Yeah.
Demarin, do you have anything else to share about the seed? You want to go on about?
No, this one was good. I'm sure you'll have a lot of people to talk to in just a second. So I'm gonna pop out.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot.
Thanks again.
Great.
Yeah, good game, Demarin.
Thanks.
All right, so we've got Natara still going through the Fatal Eye. She's trying some unique ways of grinding. I'll give her that. Got Tristal following the path, grinding like he's now fighting these treasure chests. So I don't know what he's doing. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of funny to watch, but and I think Silver is about to start his assault now that he's leveled properly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Tristal may have thinking maybe has already checked all the locations and somehow is confusing the flags to be like a K3, K4 where the key items are in the trap chest.
Well, I know that he said that he prefers to play a different style of game anyway, so maybe he may just be doing his thing, you know, his
Hi
way.
there.
Oh,
Hi,
absolutely.
Alexa. Congratulations on your finish.
GG, Alexa.
It was a PB too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I made a very silly decision, and I'm very, very happy with it. I decided to take Tell to the Moon immediately after finding the crystal super early. Well, I went and shopped around a little bit, see what else I could find. But, yeah.
You took Tell to the Moon?
I took Tell to the Moon, because he has weak. So, and he can grind. And what's really interesting is on the floor before the save point floor in the Lunar Subterranean, there, if you use a Siren in that room, you will automatically get into a fight with 2 King Ryus. So with less than 10 key items, and a bunch of Sirens that I had bought in an item buying binge that I went on at the beginning of my run, I ground. I grinded up to like level 50, and Tella died immediately in the Zeromus fight, and it was my 2 white mages, Porum and Rosa, and Edge and Yang.
We actually haven't seen Tella at all on any of our. Find him.
Tella was at he was behind the package at Mist.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think we saw anybody check for that.
It looks like Nirm also took Tella to the Moon.
Huh.
and they may have used a similar tactic to me. I really loved that tactic. I was delighted the whole time I was doing it, and I was like, even if this doesn't work out, I'm just gonna be happy that I did it. And it paid off too.
Well, I bet Natara wishes that she had taken Tella as well, given her issues with the D-Machine grind.
Oh man, and the sirens really helped me cut down on my time, because I did not have to find fights that I couldn't fight. Yeah, they really helped out a lot. I recommend that tactic to anyone who's looking to grind on the moon. But I had a lot of fun with this seed. These flags, I ran them a bunch. I had a lot of awful runs this past week, so this is easily the best time that I got on these flags, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, you're welcome. If I'm gonna get the blame for the bad seeds, I should get the credit for the good ones too.
That's right.
I'm all about that.
It looks like Silver's actually in the Zeromus fight now, so
cool.
we may be seeing him finish pretty quickly.
Well, I don't want to hog all the interview time, but I will wish you both farewell. Thank you for commentating. GG's to everyone.
Thanks, Alexa. Take care.
Bye.
Great race.
Thanks. Bye.
So Cecil got smacked down pretty quickly for Silver there.
That's a very interesting tactic, taking Tella to the moon. It's pretty cool that multiple racers were able to make that tactic work.
I think that's great.
Absolutely.
And I really think, with Free Enterprise, one of the things I like about it the most is that there's just so many different ways to actually get to the end. And it's just kind of a matter of how you want to play it. You can have a lot of options that pop up as the right option, given the seed and the circumstances. So we got Egmamus, our boy.
And Natara is still grinding on moon enemies in the top left there.
Quaking out some King Ryu kills. I think she should be just about ready to go, though.
Yeah, looking at those HP values, it's got to be pretty close. Tristel's still in the cave, the Sylph Cave, checking the treasure chests.
Trying to see if any of the other racers want to talk with us.
Absolutely. Well, we kept wondering when we'd see somebody go to the moon, and a few racers did take that chance.
Hey, Night 2, congratulations. You are the first finisher on the stream.
GG, Night 2.
Looks like some audio problems there. Will. So pretty much looking at where Silver is, he shouldn't have any problem, right? His characters are pretty leveled.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good levels. He's nuked on Cecil, so that's probably a death for Cecil there.
I think Natara will be right behind him. It looks like she's just cabining now. And I think her characters are leveled enough to take this as well. Crystal playing by their own rules here. I don't know.
Beat of his drum.
I don't know what will happen with him, but yeah.
when one marches to the beat of their own drum, they perhaps should not let Edward be that band leader.
So many Edward references.
It just had to happen when you start with Edward, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Or not.
Or not. Okay.
Whatever.
Note taken.
So Natara appears to be making her way down to the core, but didn't actually turn off encounters. I don't know if that's a strategy or what's going on with that.
I'm not sure if Silver has reached Meteo phase yet, but a lot of nuke countering going on, making it a lot more difficult for him.
Yeah, his fight has not been very clean. I think he actually would have been better off with a higher leveled Cecil, just given the circumstances.
I'm wondering if Natara will turn off encounters here before she hits that the next level, the harder level of V2 for this lunar subterranean here, or if she will continue to experience random encounters.
Yeah, I hope she turns it off by then, because it's really tough to watch. As someone who speedruns this go down the lunar core when it's not step routed, it's much worse watching somebody else do it.
Yeah, those battles are brutal to fight, and it takes forever to run from them as well.
The red D in particular is really mean. So we got Silver finishing here right now with a
All right.
time of 1:49.19. So he is the second finisher on our stream. Nuking the Egamus to death.
Fantastic spell notification there. It looks like Natara has chosen to lead random encounters on and fight her way down. Very nice run by Silver. Looks like Trystal found the trap chest in the Land of Summoned Monsters.
Yeah, I think Trystal has opened every chest that has an encounter in it.
You know, when I said we may see 100% seed, I think that might have osmosed over to him. Could be going for a 399 out of 399 here.
Well, that'll happen, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to stay here for the whole thing, but that'll happen.
One thing we have not heard, and I have forgotten to ask everyone we've talked to, is what the song for Edward was in the Magnus Cave.
Oh yeah,
So
Natara never got that, did she?
Yeah, if any of our racers that have finished are still in chat and happen to do the Magnus Cave, go ahead and give us a rundown if you happen to know what the song was. It looks like we are joined by Silverfire, or not.
Well, yeah, there. Look, the magic.
GG, Silver.
He's pretty quiet.
Just looking at the stats on Silver's screen there, looks like he did have 7 key items during that Yellow Dragon grind.
Yep.
And only 12 bosses.
Natara is just determined.
She is going ham on Zemus's army.
All the offspring of Zemus down here in the core are just getting slapped around because she's angry or something.
Hell hath no fury.
Trystal's taking on Odin again. Wow, this is definitely a strategy. Nah, we already know that Trystal is playing their own seed at this point.
It'd be nice to get the world tour and see what we missed. And Natara facing off with a red dragon and a behemoth. Not a fun fight by any stretch of the imagination.
I like that the Quake did 1 damage to the behemoth. Just one. Just one.
It looks like we're joined. Are we joined by Edgeworth here?
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
GG, Edgeworth.
congrats.
Thanks.
You got any general thoughts on the seed, Edge?
It
Sorry
seemed
about the
pretty
delay there.
straightforward, although the Leviathan fight was a little tricky. Took a wipe there. But other than that, I think the big lesson that I can take away from this seed is probably some party composition lessons. I decided to take 2 black mages, and getting them to 55 so that they could both cast Nuke probably wasn't worth the time investment.
Yeah, that's one thing you one thing you sign up for when you get all the mages. You know, if you're gonna actually level them.
Actually, why I ditched Rydia.
Yeah,
GG, Silver.
How's it going, Silver?
Oh.
Sorry about that, but kind of came in at the same time. So, you got any general thoughts on the seed, Silver?
Yeah, just like little inefficiencies all over the place is how I feel about this.
We did see you grind there for a little bit in the upper tower of Babel before the Leviathan fight. Give us your thought process that was kind of going on during that time.
I mean, like, I wiped him, and I didn't even, like, have virus yet on Palom, and, like, I was just getting one-shot by Octomam, and I actually forgot about the moon veils that I had purchased on the moon. Which is to beat Octomam there, because Octomam was mealing for, like, over 1,000 damage, and it was just one-shotting everyone. So yeah, I was like, sorcerer here, I could just like beat some guys up here and hopefully at least get it to the point where like Cecil doesn't get one shot and Yang doesn't get one shot and stuff. That only kind of worked, and then I remembered the moon veils anyway, and I'm like, oh, I'll just use those.
That's pretty
And
fortunate.
then Leviathan gave me trouble too.
Yeah, it sounded like the hook bosses gave a lot of our runners trouble. We only saw you struggle with them on the stream, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did other people on the stream end up doing to deal with those so easily, or?
Well, I think they leveled a little bit more than you before, or did more.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of was like, I'm only in my late teens and levels, so I'm like, that's okay. There's an efficient way to grind right here. Let's just do that.
Speaking of grinding, we did see you end up grinding your final levels on the Yellow Dragon's Edge. I'm not sure if you provided the insight, but what strategy did you use to grind up to Zeromus levels?
I went with Yellow Dragons as well. It's just if the Japanese items are on and you have sirens, those are a pretty good way to get some levels. You don't have to deal with the search and disrupt of the trapdoors, which is kind
or
of
the walking around to get to the trapdoors, for that matter.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Yeah, either of you have any final thoughts on the seed? What you thought
I
of it?
should have gotten adamant armor before jumping into the hook bosses. I didn't think they would be that difficult, and adamant armor would have trivialized Octomam and greatly helped against Leviathan.
I need to learn what the Japanese items do a little bit more. Just kept thinking to myself during the Zeromus fight, man, I don't really have any time in the turn order to cast Berserk. If only there was some kind of item that let you do that.
If only there was some kind of item that I think I used 10 of in the Zeromus fight.
Well, you're in luck, Edge, because next week's flags also have the Japanese items, so you got plenty more time to work with those.
A lot of learning to do.
Looks like Natara is still on her descent through the lunar subterranean, taking on breaths on that final floor, and we've got Tristal up in the top right, still taking on the boss in the Land of Summoned Monsters.
Did Natara skip going to the underground?
I believe so, yeah.
That's an interesting way to approach it. I mean, you can get plenty of XP on the moon, so...
I'm surprised
Once
we
you
didn't
have the
see more of that.
crystal,
Yeah.
I debated it, but decided that because I found sirens, I decided I would just go for the hook instead and not tinker around too much on the moon.
So we got a 10th place finish out of Ikbemia with a 156.43.
Just coming in under 2 hours. Very nice. Good race.
GG.
And we should be seeing Natara up in the top left, just about to enter her Zeromus fight.
Thanks again for doing commentary, guys. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. Great fun. Good to see this side of things, too, especially when you're trying to develop new evil things.
It is. It's nice to see everyone else having fun with these seeds.
All right, I'm out. Have a good night.
Oh,
Right, thank
you
you.
too, Edward.
So Natara finally looks like she's at the final boss. Everybody has like 1.3 million experience.
We got a level 56 Cecil. That's unprecedented.
Making her final changes here.
She could have an unprecedented crisis on her hands. I'm so sorry.
Bill, you're not sorry.
I'm never sorry.
I know you, and I know you're not sorry.
It looks like we've got Tristal taking up residence in the Land of Summon Monsters, staying at the end there. Oh, so you'd like to see where he goes. It looks like he's exiting out. Looks like he's climbing out of the underground. Not sure where he would be heading at this point. Looks like to Baron. And the fight is underway for Zeromus and Natara, squaring off against one another.
For likely the last time. No, I'm sure there'll be a lot more of them actually, but it sounded dramatic. I wanted to say it, damn it.
Yeah, that made me laugh pretty hard.
So Natara shouldn't have any problems with Zeromus, given that she has 2 Excaliburs and she's with Crystal Sword, and now she's got a Moon Veil going, which she's going to reflect spells off of too. Yeah, there's a lot going to be going on here. She's going to be able to throw a lot at Zeromus. Speedrun wise, comparing this fight to the actual speedrun, what you do is different only because you have more characters, really. And because of that, you can just plop on damage a lot faster. But because Natara leveled Cecil so much, her Egmamus here is also pretty fast. As you can see, she tried to nerf the Big Bang and was too slow to do so.
That's always painful.
But
Oh,
getting the courtesy nuke.
how many mood veils did she put up? I mean, if she put up enough, this might be a
looks like
nuke
2.
fest.
Looks like 2. On Palom and Yang.
Looks like Tristal found the Fabul Gauntlet, likely in Odin's spot because he did go back to Baron.
That is one crowded throne.
Still no Darkness Crystal for Tristal. Apologies for the rhymes.
Bill never apologizes. Not for real. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You're not the real Bill.
It was me, Edward, all along.
Now that explains a lot, actually. So yeah, if you're enjoying this this race, we put these on every Monday. They're a lot of fun to do. We have a lot of community members come in, and you can see like Tristal. You could take it casually. It's actually been one of the highlights of my week ever since it started.
Absolutely,
And,
I look forward to it every week as well.
and I'm really happy that it's come up so fast. Everybody's been really supportive of each other. These are a lot of fun.
And if anybody's still watching that has not checked out the game or the Discord, please visit the website, ff4-free-enterprise.com. The link to the Discord is at the top. Join us. We're a great community of helpful people who love to see new faces and new people to play against. Even if you play casually, this game is an absolute blast.
GG to Natara, who has finished a time of 2:00.
Yes, GG Natara laying the smackdown on Egmamus. I'm sorry, Egmamus. Now looks like Tristal was rewarded with a ninja star for defeating that wonderful Fabul Gauntlet.
Much value was found. But yeah, you can see, it's a community thing. We're not super uptight about, how you got to race this or whatever. Crystal's just having his fun, and that's all cool.
I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I will tell you that much.
I've definitely found out a lot about the seed through watching his stream that I would never have seen. I'll put it that way.
Hello.
Hey.
GG Natara.
Thank you.
How are you feeling after that?
I waffled a lot on the way I was gonna level, and I kept being like, should I hunt for more key items? Should I look for better characters? And I just kept running back and forth. And I should have gone with my first inclination and just gone to the moon in the first place as soon as I had access, because that's what I ended up doing anyways. And I would have saved a minimum of 30 minutes, if not an entire hour.
Yeah, that was it was something we saw on all of our streams. No one actually pushed that quick. A little surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't surprise me with that seed, with getting that stuff so early and knowing the pass had to be in the underground somewhere.
Were you thinking at all about trying to do the Zeromus fight with only mages? Was that any kind of motivation for you?
No, not whatsoever. I was legit almost trying to get can't hear. Oh, hold on a sec. My stream can't hear me. Ha ha ha. I was trying actually to find the Sand Ruby so I could get Kane, because I saw him in Kaipo.
Yeah, Tristal found that way late in the chain. He's been doing all the things nobody else wants to do, pretty much.
Nice, and I wasn't going to risk getting all the key items, not even for the added experience or anything, but it would have been nice. So I kind of hunted around for a little bit extra while I was getting characters. But when it came down to it, I had a pretty good party. It could have been a lot worse. I could have still been stuck with Edward.
So it looks like, sorry to interrupt, Z-Man has finished in 12th place with a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 28 seconds. And I do have a follow-up question for you, Natara. I really would like to know your thought process. Just watching your warpath down the entire lunar subterranean as you're slashing and demolishing behemoths left and right. I've never seen so many red dragon corpses. Can you take me through your thought process going down that gauntlet?
Honestly, I was just trying to level up enough to have both the HP, and I was trying to get white for Rosa. That's why even when I was down to the lunar subterranean, I had nuke for Palom and everything. I was like, I just want white for Rosa. So it was like the instant I learned it, that was it. Encounters were off. I had had enough of that nonsense.
That makes sense with the Japanese 2 flag.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting. I keep thinking it's 52. You get it in the Japanese flags, but I was like, no, it must be 55. Let's keep going. This is awful.
It was a pleasure to watch. And loved your Zeromus fight as well. That was
I felt really good about like everything except for the waffling on to how I was gonna grind to get my levels. Everything else I felt really good for, and yeah, I was really happy with that Zeromus fight too. Very often I fight Zeromus, do it badly, do it a second time and kick his butt. So the fact that I could do it the first time felt good.
Yeah, tell us about going in the giant earth.
Oh my god, that was a mistake, because the problem was recently when watching some of the top runners do this, I noticed that as soon as they can, they hop into the giant, but I didn't have weak, so I was hoping to level up enough to get weak while I was in the giant, and then I could do a proper grind fight, but it just wasn't working out. So after I got enough levels that I wouldn't die on the moon, I said, you know what, let's just do what I was going to do in the first place, and let's just go on the moon. This is not working.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch. I think I commented on that a couple times. Like, I hope this works, but I don't think it's going to.
No, it wasn't. And at least I did get some decent experience. But again, I would have just been better off just starting in the moon and walking my way through. And I would have gotten all that experience there. And I wouldn't have wasted that time in the giant. Because I don't even think there was any particular items I got in the giant, which were really good.
No, I don't think so either. But thanks very much for giving us your stream audio.
No problem at all. It's easy enough to set up now that I know how to do it.
Putting on the show for everybody here.
That's the spirit.
Follow Natara. She is awesome.
That's a great race.
Yeah,
really,
thanks.
Really fun to talk to.
Yeah. Who is how's everyone? Is there anyone else still on the stream there going?
Yeah, Tristal's still playing his seed his way.
That's the spirit. Hey, you know what? That's the point of these seeds half the time. Is just you go in and you do whatever's fun for you, and then go from there.
Yep.
I will note I saw a lot of fabulous times and a lot of really good like new runners or newer runners coming in with like first and second. It was awesome to see the order and just the amount of people just finishing and really taking to that seed.
Yeah, it was interesting that when I saw the field for sure, I was like, oh, who's gonna win this because he's near him. But no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Not even close, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I think there might have been a lot of learning for all of us in that particular seed. So just again, best way to go about doing the grind fight, and just because the grind is good in a lot of ways does not make it the best place to go, and things like that.
Oh my goodness! Is Ick saying that he finished the game with Edward in the party?
Oh my goodness.
That's beautiful.
That is sad.
And Child Rydia.
Oh my god. Child Rydia can be pretty decent, honestly. She's nothing on Edward. Edward's just a disaster.
Oh, that's great.
That is amazing. Where was the pass? Do you know? I'm sure you know.
It was Tamra, I believe.
Tamra, yeah. And that was one of the things which also went through my mind, which is why I went through the Eblin Cave for a while, because I was like, well, why don't I go to the underground and at least check the shops there? But once I found the elixirs and whatnot, I was like, I don't even need to go down there for items, and I got a level anyways, so why? But there was a couple of times where I was like, well, maybe I'll go that way. So when it comes down to it, I need to pick a routing and just sit with it and stick with it.
Yep, that's kind of how I finished first a lot, is just not deviating from the path once I start it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so Tristle's doing chest grind.
Oh, well, they're on the moon at least.
Yep. I mean, I think this is like 100% pretty much kill every chest that he can get seed.
Yeah, I just got to the point. I always get to the point, even in the seeds with the good chests, where I'm just like, I can't even be bothered with chests anymore. I have good enough equipment, that's fine. I was very happy to see that pink tail, I gotta say.
Bill, did you have any other Natara questions?
Oh, I don't believe so. It was a pleasure to watch. It was a great race.
Well, thank you. So I'll leave you lovely restreamers and commentators to it. And thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Get some rest.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. I would really love to get Tristle's thoughts about this seed and his route. And I'm really anxious to see his stats at the end.
Another crystal sword found. Oh, it was Feymarch. Okay. Sorry, we didn't actually get to see where it was underground somewhere.
Now we're seeing Tristle take all the chests in the lunar subterranean. I can't imagine that stopping at any point.
So I believe we're joined by Night Dew? Or maybe more Discord problems.
Yeah, I believe we were having some audio issues earlier with Night Dew. But if you can hear us, Night Dew, it was a very, very good rate.
Yeah, he did. Well, they went away now, so they did fine. I'll be honest. I'm not like the best commentator in the world. I'm running out of things to say already. but this has been a lot of fun.
This has been fun, and I thank you everyone for hanging out, watching, and joining us again. If you're at all interested in this randomizer, visit that website, ff4-free-enterprise.com. I believe there's a command for it in chat. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Someone might be able to help me out in chat. But there is a link to the Discord at the top with a breadth of information and helpful people there that will get you started.
Edward survived 2/3 of Zeromus. Amazing. Amazing. The things people do. The things people do to make Edward work. It's astonishing to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would ever be that desperate, but I would really enjoy watching it.
Oh, you know, it's like one of those completionist things. I get it. It's just funny to me.
It's a bucket list item.
Well, not my bucket, but I know some people like to just, you know, how they have like the random stat upgrades. I know some people actually try to plan out their Edward to get to 99 in every stat.
Sure, I would pay to see that as well.
Well, you would have to watch it very slowly. In the same way that you would watch paint dry on a wall, you can watch that, I'm sure.
If I feel like if I can dedicate 90 minutes to watch Edward take out Plague, I can dedicate a little more time to see him actually come through with his greatness.
Truly the greatest of times, yes. So Tristel, let's see, how many has he taken out now? Probably like 4 or 5 of these chest fights.
Yeah, I've seen at least 2. It's hard to keep track when there's so much chest opening. I believe that we saw Natara take out 3 to 4 as well.
And everybody that Tristel has is in-game ready at this point, pretty much.
Yeah, look at that equipment.
Mid-50s.
I suppose if anybody in chat has any lingering questions, feel free to ask as we watch Tristel make his descent down the lunar subterranean. You know, given the items that Tristel has, I'm not sure going for chess is, even in a K4 seed, this would be a rough way to proceed, but a good way to get levels if you don't have encounters on.
How many do you immediately spot? You saw at least 3 deaths on. Doesn't mean nobody survived that, but yeah. I think anybody who tried it right away got destroyed.
Oh, we got another question. What we think of these flags in a possible tournament setting. I like these flags a lot. I think T4 kind of evens the playing field a little bit, maybe too much. But I do like Glitchless and no free lunch.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not really thinking about tournament flags in the moment. But I will say that in a broad general sense, I really like the no free lunch flag, and I really like the J2 flag. I think those would be 2 kind of levels of nuance that I would welcome in a tournament setting.
Now it looks like Porum just learned life too.
Oh, good. Sylph. Finally.
Finally.
Tristel can cast Sylph. Now the question will be is if Tristel wants to take on all these bosses.
I believe that's a no, as he speeds right on past 2 of them.
My goodness, look at this.
It appears a sense of urgency has kicked in, and we may be seeing our last Zeromus fight of the night on our featured racers here.
The Church of Sylph. In these flags, I tend to sell pretty much any summon I can get right now because the odds of me actually keeping Radiant to the end game are very low.
Yeah, it's just free cash at that point. The sells. There are a few items that even sell that well.
Yeah, I've submitted some glitchless price corrections. I mainly wanted to work on ethers because I think they're way overpriced. Makes it harder to run a mage party, but hasn't really made it in yet. It's one of the back burner things.
Well, even with everything that Tristel has checked, we're still running at 2 hours, roughly 20 minutes. This is a pretty respectable time for these flags. So let's hone in on this Zeromus fight and cheer him on.
Absolutely. Looks like we've got 3 other people still playing. Which is Keaton619, Eunice, who is a great randomizer player who I've never seen play this random before, so I'm excited that he's in. And X-Ice Blue, who said, I think early on, that they hadn't touched this since it first came out, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
And just joined impulsively, so that's cool.
Absolutely. I feel like ever since I found out about this randomizer, my life has been consumed with Edward. Oh, we got a bluff there from Palom.
That's right, it's bluff time. Looks like Eunice is actually in the... I think Keaton might be the furthest from finishing at this point.
Well, I think that was the only spoon we saw thrown as well just now by Edge.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's really not that much emphasis in Glitchless on Edge actually throwing this. Normally, you just want him to have Ninja Sword or Masamune, Murozame, and attack out with Berserk him because he's really fast.
Yeah, and I do believe Tristel has both of those swords, the Murasame and Masamune.
Yeah. Elixirs, I think, are fairly priced given what they do. I might look at lowering them a little bit. And I've thought about, on a deeper level, just kind of how many flags we're going to be working with here that actually matters and what it does. But I think with Elixirs, the value you get is pretty high, pretty respectable, and worth 100K.
I would love to see you lower the price of Elixirs to 99,999. Just to say that you lowered them.
It's actually surprisingly hard to change prices in this game, from what Board tells me. So he said not to make any frivolous suggestions.
I see.
So that would
looks like I'm out.
That would fall under that category, I believe.
I agree to disagree.
But yeah, Ether 2s, I would want Ether 2s for sure for kind of a. If this was like a tournament sort of seed, that would be one of the first things I would change.
What are Ether 2s priced at? Is that 50,000?
Yeah, 50,000. 10,000 for Ether 1s, 50,000 for Ether 2s. That's a lot of GP comparatively.
Kind of plays into that resource management, though. I had a fight against Mr. Dragon where I had one Ether 1 and it was the saving grace where I used it on Tella. So it's tough.
Yeah, but on the same side, we've already got, from a game balance perspective, I feel like the mages are underlooked right now.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for ways to give them more love in this set of flags.
That's a great point. It looks like Tristel still zooming on the Zeromus fight. Still has everybody alive. Doing well. Lots of darting for a lot of damage.
We got a dot done from Eunice in 14th place with a 222.41.
Oh, GG Eunice.
Which I believe means we are down to our last 3 players here, and Tristel is the last one on screen. And he is in the media phase now. And our last Egamus is about to strike dead right here.
GG Tristel.
At a time of SRL time of 2:23.
Fantastic finish to a fantastic race.
GG's all around. Great race from everybody. And of course, these are a lot of fun. We're planning on doing a lot more of them coming up on next Monday. We've already got flags posted in the Discord for what those will be, and you can practice them all week. It'll be amazing. This is taken off in a hurry. We've had a lot of this, and yeah, you want to join in. We definitely have a lot of encouragement help to offer to anybody new.
Absolutely. The more the merrier. Love seeing new people come in all the time, join these races, and do so just placing high, running these seeds real well. It's just such a great game. Yeah,
before we sign off, let me plug some content tomorrow for Randomania. We got the Pokemon Crystal Randomizer Cinco Bingo Tournament at 7:30 Eastern on Randomania 4 and 8 p.m. Eastern on Randomania 2. There is a Zelda 2 Adventure of Link weekly race for the Randomizer, I'm guessing, and at 9 p.m. Eastern on Randomania, and a Final Fantasy Randomizer League race on Randomizer 3, Randomania 3, at 9 p.m. Eastern as well.
Well, looks like a pretty awesome schedule coming up.
We are stacked. So thanks everybody very much for watching, and believe from our end, me and Bill, I think we're good for sign off.
I think so. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Rivers, for commentating with me. It's been a blast. Thanks, Ryu, for tracking, and thanks to our racers for the quality entertainment.
Absolutely, and Bill, for your first time, not bad, man.
Well, thank you. That was a lot of fun.